Do you like violence? Such violation. When I see me reach 9 inch nails to ruin my eyelids. Sorry, I'm not drinking, and this video isn't very Islamic friendly. So, excuse me, such violation. This is for Iran, or anywhere else really, in the wonderful Yosefian world of Islam. I have to fix everything, but I can do it very swiftly and very effectively. So I'll stop bragging. And there's a burqa protest or something going on, Biden and all supporting these liberals. If he knew anything about the American flag, he'd understand the situation. He is the reason they have to wear burqas. America is the reason they have to wear burqas anyway. Infidels. So let me just explain this to you about it being a choice to wear a headscarf and semi-compulsive to be a headscarf. There is I don't know, it could be 13, 14 to potentially 1,400,000 very, 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 very high fidelity women on the face of the earth, and in many different branches of life. There's going to be 14, but technically a lot of women who are very high fidelity, and people can screw with them and mess with them just by knowing their image or their face. Their name through a face. I trust me, women of Islam. My 1,400 friends and family, 14 to 1,400,000 friends, are being stalked and hunted by like Sinn Féin and Miami and Florida, and they're abusing them and they're screwing with them. So this is why they're very important, and your happiness and freedom. Ironically, your happiness and freedom and your quality of life is very important to the quality of life of everybody on earth. Cool cows, like Hindu cows, man, okay? So yous are in a state of jihad at the moment until I get to teach my absolute understanding, which they won't let me teach my absolute understanding to everybody. Yous are still technically in a position of jihad because the world don't fully understand why you have to conceal yourselves, your image, because the rest of the world are screwing with you. So everyone, this is a very clever and very passive and kind of very feminine technique, this burqa thing, that everybody kind of wears one. Because then you don't know who the important people are in society. So, it's not really cheeky, but it is kind of cool and cheeky if I was a lady in Islam, or in Iran, excuse me, and I don't exactly wear it. It just says, like, I'm not, or you could be, you never know. It's interesting. So, if you don't have it like fully concealed kind of thing, like, you're saying I'm not that important. Well, you're not that important. Everybody is important, but you're not very centrally rooted to some very central important people. These are all branched. Just everybody is important. Excuse me, I don't mean to but some people can actually be exploited or messed with, and it will cause absolute global, if not universal, destruction. Stars, and if you mess with the women, you know what I mean. Everywhere that Mary went, the Lamb was sure to go. If you mess with these women, the Lord will stop working with you or stop being your friend, and the whole world or universe could very easily. I know it sounds a lot just from a headscarf, but in the future you won't have to really, because I'm going to employ or demand absolute understanding, and everyone's compos mentis, and nobody ought to be a gypsy and messing or screwing with, Decalogue, his basic Decalogue. Everybody, you don't screw with other people's wives and friends and families. You don't mess with them. You be honest, you be sincere, you be genuine. So that's what the Decalogue is, and this is like a sorry condition that Islam did, but it's a very clever event, a very clever design, because if every woman in society is wearing this headscarf, these central important women are free to go to the shops. You know what I mean? I get harassed and bothered and stalked, and people videotape me going down to the shops all the time, and my family and screwing with us. They are free in this anonymity to go down to the marketplace and do whatever they want. Or, because when they're free, everybody else is free and happy and free, and everyone else is happy and free. So this concealment technique, basically, it's very respectful, and it's very, very religious. Again, it's exactly why it's religious, because you're protecting special people of your community, of the Joseph family, I'd imagine, of Islam. And there's lots of important families, and there's births all over the world, so much at the point that you can kind of screw with anybody and everybody. But there are very, very important people. The mother, Lamb, like his mother, and like, heck, even one of Jacob's children had a daughter, Nephilite, and she's late, and she can probably be screwed. It's like a very important person kind of thing as well. So there's lots of these types of very important people. I don't want to bring attention to it, but the fact that everybody will be held to compos mentis and be very grown up and adult about it. So that's why. So if you don't wear your burqa properly, you not really shouldn't be dragged in and murdered or anything like this. That's insane. No, there's corruption all over the world. It doesn't matter where you are, what religion it is. There's just going to be weird stuff like that. I got dragged in and nearly murdered for doing nothing. So yeah, if you wear it loosely, you're just saying like, yeah, I'm actually not important, and But then again, you could also be very brave and very important and wear your headscarf very loosely, because then they won't think you're one of the important ones. Yeah, see, so there's like a double bluff there. So either way, it's a good thing that it's a really, really nice thing. So it is that everybody wears to protect the, like, if the Queen didn't have such a good protection basically, and the Queen is very well protected spiritually, and she couldn't let her image be known. And they have Hello magazine kind of bragging, saying like it'll be hell on earth if everybody knows your face, miss. And they have Hello magazine showing her family happily all the time. So she's very well protected, But if she wasn't so well protected, it'd be kind of like everybody in Britain, or all the ladies in Britain, wearing a headscarf, so the Queen could go and be among her people, could happily be among. So it's an anonymity thing. It's a clever device. And if everyone generally supports it, or even loosely supports it, even just saying it, but you really shouldn't have to worry about gypsies. Well, gypsies won the war technically. That's what's terrible about the world. Gypsies technically did win the war. So there's a lot of gypsiness still in the world, and they're very legal and they're very backed up these days, in their gypsy tracks. So that's my not so short aphorism on the nature of the burqa and liberal. It's liberal's book by liberty means books. Liberty means the freedom that comes from books. So this is another thing to do with liberty. This is he's a suffering jihad. This is just suffering a predicament, and he dealt with it in a very passive and very eloquent manner. Because if you think back, what Muhammad did, if he screwed with his wife or friends and family, he'd chop you off your fucking heads and hands, man. He'd be down on you, the infidels, for messing with the women. So it's a very, very clever technique not to have to chop off the heads and hands of loads of infidels, because there's lots of infidels, just to neutralise the situation by wearing a headscarf, loosely or not loosely, as long as. Because, like I said, either way, like the very important ladies might take to wearing them loosely because then they won't appear important. So, one way or another, it's just a clever general device. So that's why they exist, and they're not oppressive. They're very supporting. It's a very, very respectful thing. And in the future, they won't have to be there, because I'll educate America on their flag and the Joseph family and important families, and not screwing with them. I don't know how he can get away with saying that when he just bombed. He drones. He came out with a public confession and said he drone bombed some important. He's like the Pope of Islam kind of guy. You know what I mean? Really, really important person. And I don't know. How can he get away with doing that and then claiming to be defending these people when he's killing these people? I don't know. America's just so up there. I don't even know where they begin and where they end. So anyway, that's on what the burqa or whatever it's called. Sorry, not to be disrespectful. Jabhat or whatever it is. Headscarves. I was going to start wearing one around myself because I didn't want people to be using my image, but then it would just draw more attention to me walking around Ireland with a cool looking fucking, balaclava around my head kind of thing. It looked pretty fucking good. But yeah, no, it'll just draw more attention to me. And put these YouTube videos up because I don't care. If you exploit me, you're breaking your own balls. So yep, that's to be settled. Any questions? I don't know. Ask someone who's got a book out.